Hello everyone and welcome to today's form building webinar. My name is Nick and I'll be taking us through the builder today. Today we'll be talking about styling your forms. So we will be talking about things that are a little bit different than normal as opposed to building out a packet. But once you've built that packet, you can style that to better represent your practice to all of your patients. And so let's go ahead and go on down to our packets and forms page. And today we'll be working off of our new patient intake packet. But before we do that, let's go ahead and open up the live version of that packet and compare that to our registration. I've set both of these packets up pretty much the exact same. The only difference is the styling that has been done to our registration packet as opposed to our default new patient intake. As you can see, just initially right off the bat, instead of a logo up here at the top left, we have FormDr Webinar, which is the account name. So this will default to the account name unless a logo file has been uploaded. On the right side will be the packet title. That won't really change, but you can see the rest of the form. All we really have other than the default styling we have just added a logo and a background color. But as you can see, just adding those two things can make a really big difference in terms of how that form is going to look. And now, of course, if you're embedding these forms into an iframe onto your website, then you may not have to worry about this as much. But if you are sending these out through the system, then it does behoove you to make them look really nice. All right, let's go ahead and talk about how to do that. So first up, we'll close these out and we'll go ahead and open up our new patient intake packet by clicking the three dots on the right side of that packet, clicking Edit Forms, which will take us to step 1. We won't need to add any new tabs to this packet, so we'll go ahead and click Next to Build. We won't need to update any of the questions or any of the elements on this packet today, so we'll just click Next to Style. This will take us to the Style page, which is where we're going to spend most of our time today. The style page is a live preview of your form. So if we have any required fields that you've clicked past, it will notify you. If you have any conditional information hidden behind an answer selection, it will show you. And of course, if you have any drawing or signature widgets set up, you can test those out as well. So this is a live preview of the form, and you can kind of get a feel for how the patient will be interacting with it. This is also the page where you can update what that form is going to look like to your patients. So first up, we'll talk about how to upload a logo, and that's going to be easy as it's your second option on this left sidebar. Your first option is going to be the visibility toggle, and this is going to allow you to remove that header if you don't want that to be there. It will be on by default, and if you're looking to upload a logo file, all you'll need to do is select that logo, or that logo file option, browse, select the file you would like to upload, and it will replace that account name. From here, you can update other stylings as well. Again, the most common two that we have found that will be updated are going to be a logo file being added and then adding a background color. If we scroll down a little bit, background color will be held in its own section here called background. And it will default to that white background. However, we can find something that looks a little bit closer to our logo just by using that color picker. Otherwise, if you do know that hex key that you would like to use, you can enter that here and get that exact color that you're looking for. All right. And as we can see, just adding those two has already made this form look a whole lot better. It's a lot more pleasing to the eye. But you do have some other options here as well. You can update the logo file size if you want it to be a little bit bigger. You can update that header font size if you want that to be bigger. You can also make it smaller if you want it to be hidden. And again, if you just want that to be gone, it's going to be found under the visibility and just disable that toggle. This is a good option if you are embedding those forms onto the website. Unless you have multiple packets that you're linking there, then maybe you want that packet title included. You can also update the title color if you want this to be something different. If you do have a background color on a logo file that you would like to match, then I would just recommend changing that header color to something different, as we have a white background on ours, so we keep that white background. But if yours is something that you would like to match so you don't have that square effect right there, Then you can also update that header color, the header title as well, so to make that look a little bit better with whatever has been, whatever that color has been changed to. Or you can just leave that default. And then we come down to the bottom bar color. These are all going to be found in the header section and will just affect anything that's up in this top section. But that bottom bar is going to be your separator between your header and your body area. It will default to a really light gray. However, we can update this as well. Maybe we want something to be a little closer to that secondary color in our logo. And luckily for us, it also matches our selected tab color as well. All right, so we have our bottom bar here, and just to get a little more dramatic with it, let's make that yellow so you can see it, but it's just going to be right there for you. All right. Moving down to the title, the selected form color is going to be the text on that tab title. So as we move this around, we can see that changed. If you do want that to be different or styled more closely to your form, again, that will be found in selected form color on the title tab. You can also update that size if you like as well. If those tabs are a little small for you, you can raise them up, or if you want them to be a little more hidden, you can always make them a bit smaller, but they will default to that 14 size. Then we'll get down into the content section, and this is going to be the meat of the detailed changes that I typically will see. Your content title font size, we'll have, oh, I don't have a title on this form. Well, text font size can be updated. Fields font size can be updated if you do want to give the patient some more room. This is a great option to adjust for any forms that you're only going to be using in a PDF format if you're printing them out in Office. As everyone knows, everybody's handwriting is vastly different, and some people struggle with smaller areas to fill out. So if you do have that extra space on your form, I do recommend, updating the field sizes, the font sizes. You'll have some options here in terms of how to update that area. And then, of course, the option colors. Another popular option, but another one that can make a big impact on the form, just even if you've changed the logo file, background color, and then the option selection colors. But these four ones here, all of the option titled ones, option color, option text color, option selected color, and option selected text color. These are both going to affect the selection option questions. So if you do have a lot of these on your form, you can make a big difference just by changing these. But that option color, if we slide that around, we can get a different background color there if we wanted. The option text color obviously will be the text inside of that selection option question, or that answer area, I should say. And then your selected option colors, these are going to be the ones that have been selected by the patient. So if you wanted to select, a white or something for this, and then we could make that a red, something like that. I'll leave this black and white though, because I do think that looks a bit better. But you'll be able to select different setups here in terms of making that form look a bit differently. Maybe I would turn that black into that dark blue from the background just to give, for some consistency, which we can do here just by copying and pasting that hex key. There we go. All right, then we'll come down to the footer information. You will be able to change the color of the footer and the information as well. You can update that button color if you like. The footer text as well can be updated. So you will be able to change the way that form is going to look for you. And of course, the fonts, you'll be able to select from various fonts if you want that to be presented differently as well. Again, depending on what type of fonts you use on your website, if this is embedded or linked, or if you want it to look as close to your website as possible, you will have those options to change those. So once you have this set to where you like, you can go ahead and click Next to Publish and back to account. This page does say publish, but this is step 4 of our builder. You will need to go back to account to save those changes. If we were to click out, these changes would just then be saved as a draft and not updated. So let's go ahead and click back to my account. Once we're back on that send and receive page, you'll know that any of those changes that you've made have now been saved and published. So we can go back to the packets and forms page. We can click on that live link of our new patient intake packet. And we can see that we have our red buttons here with that dark blue background once selected. And so our form looks a whole lot better than that just stark white one that we had before. Let's go ahead and add a new packet here so we can get that background again. And we'll just leave this with just that intake form. Or move that scratch form just so we can see somewhat of a form. But I bring this up just because once you have styled one packet in your account, once you add any new packets, you won't need to go through and adjust all of those options again. As you can tell, if you are going through changing, we'll go to our style page. If you are going through changing each one of these to be very specific and you have 10 packets in your account, obviously you're not going to want to spend the time to go through and do that for each individual packet. What typically happens is people will style a couple of them, they've had enough, and then the rest of their forms will look just as the default. But there is an easy way to get those stylings over into the new packets, and all you'll need to do is have styled one single packet prior to this and have saved those changes. From here, it's just going to be that top option for you. In the Import Styles section, select Style, and then from here we'll be able to select from any of our other packets and just bring that styling from that packet over. So we'll take a look at that registration one first, which was our initial one with the default selection options, but it has brought over that background color and that logo. If we wanted to take what we had just styled in our previous packet, we'll select that new patient intake packet, and it will add that bottom bar color and those red selection option buttons. So you'll only need to make those styling changes once, and then from there you can just import everything over. And then again, if you've updated your logo to something different, that may be just easier since you'll need to go into each packet individually to do that anyway. But again, to clear and upload a new logo, we're just going to hit select our logo file option, clear it, then we'll just upload our new logo instead. There we go. All right. I'll go ahead and open up that chat just in case we do have any questions. But that chat is open. Feel free to get those in before we close up today. I'm happy to try to answer those as we go through. All right, we'll go next to publish. And we'll just go ahead and save this form as well. And again, once you get to the publish page, you can either click that button at the bottom of that list, the finish building button, or the My Account button at the bottom right. Either one of those will work just fine for you. They'll both take you to that send and receive page. And as I had mentioned earlier, I've mentioned a few times, if you are linking or embedding the forms on your website, to do so, all you'll need to do is click the 3 dots on the right side of the packet that you're looking for, or looking to link or embed. And we're just going to go ahead and click the settings option instead of that edit forms. And those options are going to be on either side of that QR code. The link code on the left, anytime this is used, is just going to link that form. And when the patient clicks that link, it will open that form in a new window for them. And if you do choose to use the embed code on the right instead, this will embed that form directly onto in an iframe onto your web page. So depending on how you want to present those forms to your patients, either one can be used. And then, of course, if you are looking to print forms out or to allow patients to fill them out in office, you can use that QR code to allow them to scan that, to fill that out in office. Or if you are creating a blank PDF of that form, you can do so by using the Create PDF on the bottom right. One thing to note about that create PDF is that any conditional information, such as we have with our drawing fields at the bottom and our referring doctor question, or our, excuse me, our how did you hear about us question, all conditional information is going to be presented on a PDF printout. So just keep that in mind when you are building, just in terms of formatting and amount of space that's going to be taken up. So just keep an eye out for that if you're going to find yourself using PDFs a lot. I always do like to point that out because you'll build everything out, print it out for the first time, not like the way it looks, and then need to go back in and adjust. All right, let's go ahead and close that up. And since we are talking also about styling, you will have a little bit extra options on the tail end once somebody has submitted a form, which I'll just go ahead and do really quickly. Fill out our required fields and submit. I'll go up to our send and receive page. Once you have a completed submission in your form, I do like to tie this in with when we're talking about styling, just because it is extra options in terms of how you can make the form look a bit differently. But once you have, we've styled our form, we've sent that form out, and we've received that packet back from our patient, we can just use our quick export options here for either a CSV or a PDF. But if we were to click the print option, it will take you to the print page, and you'll have many more options on that left sidebar in terms of how that form is going to look once it's printed out or exported. And I bring this up because, again, you can change font sizes, you'll be able to reduce line spacing, you can even show or hide certain forms. So say we just wanted to export that consent form on that export, we don't need the information or the upload cards pages, we can go ahead and hide those, only presenting that consent form, and then whenever we print or download that, it will only be that consent. So you can kind of customize that. Just note that anything that you have saved in this way, anytime you print or download that, those settings will be saved. And if we were to close this out and then come back to the print page, these forms will still be hidden. So if you find yourself trying to print something out, and you're like, oh man, there's only one form coming out of this packet, there should be 3. Always double check that show or hide forms just to make sure nobody has come before you for that packet and accidentally hidden 1 or 2 of them. If you are going to be printing forms out in different styles, or certain pages and not the others, whatever the case may be, I do recommend saving that as a template, which will then populate in this templates list, and then from there you'll just need to go in and toggle on the template that you wish to use for that export, just in case different users have different ways of exporting that information. But I like to bring this up because, again, much like the style page, you can adjust text sizes and things like that, not oftentimes, but sometimes there may be a certain field or a certain line that you want to be kind of emphasized, but maybe not all of the other elements that are exactly like it to be emphasized. That can be done here on the print page. So let's just say, for instance, in this situation, for whatever reason, I would like this address field to stand out a little bit more than the rest of these elements. Well, these are all text fields. So if we were to update the styling of one of those, it will, on the style page anyway, it will update it for all of them. But we can come in here and maybe we want the address color to be a bit different. We can go ahead and change that here individually, and it won't change the color of those other elements. We can then also go in and make this a little bit bigger. Maybe we want that address to stand out a bit more, and we can make that a bit bigger on that export. So you will have a few other options in terms of how that export is going to look. And if you want to change the font size, for instance, for a single section or a single widget, or you want to change the colors just to make certain information stand out a bit differently, maybe you want all those required fields to be a different color or something like that, then I would recommend going to that print page. And then once you have selected whatever styling you want, all you'll need to do is, again, either print that or click the print button or the download PDF. I always just recommend downloading that PDF. Once you have clicked that button, those settings will then be saved. So anytime we come back to the print page for this packet, then that new, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Then that new style will be what is saved for you, so we can see that change there. All right. And again, to get there, you're just going to need to click that print page. And that will hold true for all submissions that follow for the same packet. So any more new patient intake packets that we come through, when we click that print page, we'll be right back to that styling. All right. Ooh. Does look like we're running a little short on time today, but it doesn't look like we have any questions so far. So that will conclude this form building webinar. Just as a reminder though, if you do need to reach out to our support team for any reason, you can do so by clicking on My Account, going to Support, and then the section at the bottom here, you'll have a drop down with reasons why you're reaching out. And then if you do have any documentation pertaining to your issue, that's all very helpful for our team as well, which can be uploaded here in the bottom left. And then the details is, of course, this is going to be the message our team receives in that support ticket. So of course, the more detailed to your issue, the more quickly our team will be able to assess and resolve that for you. And if they ever need to log into your account, our support team, they will ask you for your support code, which can be found at the bottom of this page. That will be a rare request from them, but sometimes something might need to be looked at from within the account. And in those situations, they will ask you for that as they will need it to log in. I also like to bring up the support page or the support tab because of the product guide, which can be found here at the top, the search guide button on the right. We'll click that. That will take you to our product guide, and this can answer many questions just in terms of using the account, building forms, styling forms, setting up integrations, whatever the case may be. You can find all of that information in our sections on the top menu. You can also keep up with our webinar schedule by clicking on the FormDr update section. May, for instance, we'll have our May webinar schedule. Our onboarding webinars will be held every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. That schedule will not change too much, but the information can be found here at the top. And if you're interested in signing up, you'll just need to click on the date that you would like to attend, and it will take you right to the sign up page for that day. Our form building schedule, which will be every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. That will be changing from day to day, so you can keep track of what we'll be going over on that specific day by coming to this page. And very much the same as above, if you are interested in signing up for any of these, you'll just need to click on the title of that that day's webinar. We'll take you right to the sign up page, and you'll be able to sign up for that webinar. If there is something that you're interested in learning about but won't be able to attend for any reason, don't worry, we will be posting the recorded videos of those, and we will change the title to look like this, where it says posted. Click here, and once you click that link, it will take you directly to our YouTube channel where we'll have that video with some timestamps at the bottom as well. So please keep track of our webinar schedule just to see what we'll be going over in the upcoming weeks. But all right, we do appreciate everyone joining us today. But again, that will conclude today's form building webinar. And just as one last reminder, these are all free. So if you do have any coworkers or staff that would like to learn this information, or if you would like for them to learn this information, please feel free to send them our way. We do very much appreciate you being here with us today, and we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you.